Mr. Butch Browning is the state fire marshal for the state of Louisiana. Hey, Mr. Butch, welcome back to KEEL. How are you today?
Good morning, my friends. I'm doing wonderful.
Is it like 115 degrees where you are?
Well, actually, I think it's about 112, so I feel blessed.
Yeah.
Butch, let me ask you. We've been setting records since I think Thursday, triple digits heat. Now, Caddo Parish, Red River Parish are under burn bans. Do you anticipate more parishes will be added to that list here shortly?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, I think as late as last night, maybe Bienville and Jackson Parish has also joined in. So we're in collaboration right now, and I'll be speaking with the Ag Commissioner Mike Strain, and we'll probably be looking at a regional state burn ban here real soon because it is extremely dry, extremely hot, and you know, as you all know, and as we've seen in North Louisiana before, in those conditions, a very, very small fire can become tragic.
Explain the process, because for the most part, parishes issue a burn ban, but you can step in, like you said, issue regional or statewide if needed, right?
Right. You know, typically we wait till the problem becomes multiple parish because individual locations can manage those needs with a local burn ban. But when we start seeing the conditions we're seeing now, you know, we'll probably be doing a North Louisiana burn ban very soon. But, you know, we have people looking at the predictions. I mean, the dry conditions extend, you know, all the way into southwest Louisiana right now, too. I mean, the Lake Charles area is experiencing some of the same dry vegetation, not just hot weather, but actually dry and tender vegetation. So, you know, we're looking real closely, but I would suspect that that's going to be a possibility very soon that the state is going to issue some bans.
Mr. Butch, I don't mean this question to be as facetious as it may sound. Who in the world on a Wednesday afternoon in northwest Louisiana when it's 108 degrees and hasn't rained in 45 days would think setting fire to anything is a good idea?
Well, I think that's a great point. I mean, you know, right now, I mean, I know people have incidentally burned, you know, trees and limbs and debris on their property, and they do that as a normal thing. But I think right now, whether you live in a parish with a burn ban or not, you should refrain from any burning. Because here's the deal. I mean, we're even seeing situations where, you know, sparks off of hot brakes on trucks or a cigarette being discarded out of a window, I mean, are starting fires that cause acres and acres of damage. So we really have to be vigilant and not only not do incidental burning, but think about the little things that start fires, like a discarded cigarette. You should never throw a cigarette out the window.
Let me ask you this, too, because people don't realize this. With a cigarette or with whatever it is, these fires can spread quickly. And when they get into our woods, we're talking about big-time problems, right?
Absolutely. So, you know, what we call the urban area interface, which is typically people's homes and their yards, and then those areas lead into heavy wooded, you know, forestry, heavy timber areas. And when they get into those areas, that's when they burn very violently and extremely hot. I mean, the fires in those situations are so hot that they combust areas of maybe 100 feet at a time, if you could imagine that burning in seconds. And it's really a very serious phenomenon. And, of course, anything in its way, homes, structures, vehicles, even if people are in the area, they can become victim to this.
Butch, we're talking to Butch Browning, State Fire Marshal. How much rain is it going to take to ease the conditions?
Well, what we'll need is really, you know, traceable amounts of rain every day for over 30 days before we could really get to a level that we're not in a significant fire danger. But certainly, I mean, if we can get some rains, you know, on a regular basis, and coupled with the temperature being mild, I mean, this, you know, these 95, 100 degree, these high heat indexes, as you can appreciate, you know, one rain an hour later, I mean, it's completely dried up. So it's basically done nothing to dry out the vegetation. So we need long-term rain. We need better, milder temperatures.
Butch, Aaron and I were kind of kidding about this. Well, not really kidding, but you'll see what I mean earlier in the morning when I said, what's the difference between like 95 degrees and 105 degrees? I mean, 95 is plenty hot. I don't really notice that added 10 degrees. Is it more about the lack of rain than it is the temp?
Well, I think it's exactly about the lack of moisture in the air, because that heat instantly dries out, trees, vegetation, grass area, and the lack of that moisture being there to keep it green, if you will. So it's really the lack of water on the ground because this extreme heat dries it up so quickly.
Butch, let me get inside your brain a minute. We're just
Oh goodness.
we're just July 24th, my friend. August around here is hot. Are you real concerned about this summer could be a doozy?
Yeah, yes, it can be, and I think that what you're going to see, and it's not just the fire conditions. I mean, it's in general. I mean, I was watching this morning in Japan where they've had a number of deaths of people because of the hot weather, and to the point that the government in Japan is recommending people to not go outside. So, I mean, we've got a lot of things headed our way. I mean, I'm concerned about elderly people in their homes, people checking on them to make sure that they're not dehydrated, that their air conditions and things are working properly, and they're not outside unnecessarily. So, it's just not the fire danger of woodland fires. It's those folks. Of course, I think about the first responders. I mean, you got to realize when these firefighters go to fight fires, I mean, instantly, I mean, their adrenaline rush coupled with, the fact that they may not be completely hydrated, I mean, instantly they could become in a situation where they could experience not only, heat exhaustion, but I mean, even to the point of heart conditions and cardiac problems. So, I'm really concerned about all the people who are out in this heat doing the work of, I guess, keeping America rolling,
You bet. Butch, let me shift gears a minute. The tragedy in Natchitoches with the burned baby. Your office is apparently helping with that investigation. What is new? We know there's been an arrest. What else can you tell us about that case, that horrible case?
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the more saddest situations I've ever seen. As you know, we had a 6-month baby that was a victim of a first-degree murder in a fire. We have arrested one female in that case. The investigation is still ongoing. I really can't comment any more than that. But it is very tragic, and it is very, very sad. The Natchitoches community has really been brought to their knees on this issue. The chief of police and I have been, talking on a regular basis, working this case. But the community is still waiting on a lot of answers, and we will have those answers in probably the next week or so to come. But we do expect other arrests in that case.
Butch, did the suspect know the family, know the mother, or do we know anything about that yet?
Yes, this individual had a relationship with the family and certainly had access to the child. So we're still vetting through those things, but it wasn't a random act, which is important for us to put out. It certainly was an individual who knew the child and had access to the child.
You did say other persons of interest. How much more can you tell us about that?
Well, all I can tell you is we're working very diligently. If you saw the news reports that's been following, I mean, we've really leaned forward and put a tremendous amount of resources and technology in Natchitoches, working with the Natchitoches Police Department, and we do expect that there will be some other arrests. That's really all I can comment at this point. Gotcha. But I think the most important thing that we have to do is get all the facts and get the family the answers that they need and get the community the answers as to what happened, because this is such a sad situation, a 6-month-old to die in such a horrific and unnecessary death.
State Fire Marshal Butch Browning, stay cool, as always.
Thank you, and keep in touch with me, and certainly if we get any more safety information, we'll push it, because I know y'all do a great job of getting it out to the community.
Thank you, Butch. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.